Jim Reason, digital archive producer of Voices Beyond the Wall. The audio feed from the beginning of the January 7th, 2018 show was not transmitted to the listeners. Therefore, we're starting this show with conversation between host Ernest Henry and co-host Mike Love. Enjoy.
With us today. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing quite well, Brother Ernest. As always, it's a pleasure to be here with you, man, to share with the brothers, just to reconnect, you know what I'm saying, and to inspire and encourage brothers, man, to recognize, man, getting ready for their future out here.
That's right. Your friends and family can listen to our show live from anywhere in the country, even if they're out of our listening area, by streaming our show from the WVKR radio website at wvkr.org. They simply have to click the pink listen button on the left-hand side of the screen to connect. The studio lines will be open at 5 o'clock, and our number at the studio is 845-437-7178. Again, the studio lines will be open at 5 o'clock for comments, shout outs, and whatever announcements that you would like to share with our listening audience. And again, the number is 845-437-7178. For those of you who would like to write and send your comments or shout outs or whatever, you can write Voices Beyond the Wall, New York Prison Talk Radio, WVKR 91.3 FM, Vassar College, P.O. Box 726, Poughkeepsie, New York 12604. And like we had mentioned on our last show, our program will be uploaded to YouTube after every session that we have. If you go out to YouTube and you press up Voices Beyond the Wall 12/24/17, you'll see our last show that's posted on YouTube in 3 parts, parts 1, 2, and 3. And that will be done for the preceding shows, the shows that come after this one. And Jim Reason, he is our technical support for our social networking, and he will be posting it. He posts pictures up, and he did a nice job. It's very interactive. You can see some of the people that spoke. We would like to have photos of all of our guests when they come in, so that if you missed the show, or even if you listen to the show, you can go on YouTube and just get a snapshot of who's coming in. Like this radio thing is a strange animal to us because we have internet, we have TV, so everything is audio and visual. So when you listen to our show, the only thing you could do is hear us. But when we have our postings on YouTube, you can also see us. So that's a good thing, and we are very appreciative to Jim Reason for giving us his skill, lending his skills to us, so that we can post this. Okay, Kathy just told me the first 30 seconds of the show was blank, so we didn't have any sound. So I apologize for that. But the time after that will be right on point. So we have a guest today coming in. He'll be in shortly. And he is a gentleman that we enjoy talking about on Voices Beyond the Wall. Someone who has committed a crime, went to prison, and decided that they were going to change their lives. And they proceeded to do what was necessary to set out the building blocks while in prison to change his life. His name is Mr. Morgan. He'll be here very shortly, and we can thank Mike for bringing him in. You want to tell us a little something about him, Mike, as a little introduction?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to know Brother Walter when we was in Fishkill. When I was the adjunct instructor at the Rising Hope program, he was my student in Christian history class. a gentleman who was very focused, was very serious. A gentleman who was grappling with some issues in terms of trying to get some perspective on his life. And he's been out here 3 years, and he's doing well, man. His wife just got a home, their first home together. He's working with those children who are developmentally challenged. He's a man who's thinking like a mature, responsible, and productive returning citizen. He's the kind of brother, like you said earlier, Ernest, that we like to talk about. Those brothers who come out here and demonstrate that change.
Right. It's important for us at Voices Beyond the Wall to highlight the success stories of men and women who leave prison, because like we always say you get enough negative information about people who committed crimes when you look at the eyewitness news, the 5-6 o'clock news, because what you see is people who are recidivists and they're being arrested again.
That's right.
Very rarely does eyewitness news talk about the success stories of people who committed crimes, chose to turn their lives around, and who are doing well.
Yeah, and I suspect that that's the case because what sells is bad news.
Right.
Society is addicted, man, to bad, controversial, or those kind of things that say, "See, I told you so." I'm saying they can't do well. But when you have people who contradict those kind of pervading views, you know what I'm saying, I guess it's not so newsworthy, though it should be. Mm-hmm. We know when you was inside, Ernest, and I was inside, but we heard about a brother who left where we left and was doing well. We wanted to go hear that brother speak. We wanted to hear from that brother because what he had to share was inspiring and personal for us. Because we know that we was building our life in a similar manner. So
right. And it's very important for men and women who are inside to hear these stories, because I always say that prison is a place of hopelessness, and the hopelessness is compounded on a daily basis. It's compounded when you are treated as less than by the people who you are under their care. You are treated as less than when you petition the courts. You are treated as less than when people speak of you as a group. So the whole concept of hopelessness is compounded on a daily basis to men and women who are in the penitentiary, and we definitely need something to balance that out.
That's well said.
And to balance that out, it's important, particularly at Voices Beyond the Wall, that we highlight people who have been there, done that, and who have transcended that hopelessness. And it's very important to us. That's one of our main goals at Voices Beyond the Wall, to let people know that it's possible.
Yeah, and even people in society, just like the brothers that we left behind, everybody seemed to be intrigued or galvanized, so to speak, by a person who has dramatically altered his life for the best, where he moved from being a social liability to a social asset on a multitude of levels. And we know we left a lot of brothers behind, man, who are ready for that kind of life. They're ready. They've been ready. All they need is an opportunity to get out. They get it. They recognize, man, that to embrace or internalize criminal values is ultimately self-defeating, in a form of social genocide, because the best of what we are is taken away from our family and our community. I had a brother told me yesterday, which was encouraging, a brother named Wesley Lee. He's a professor at Dutchess County, also a person who connects who connects very well behind the scenes. He said, "We need our brothers out here. We need you, man.
1, 2.
We need you." And I can see a need. So the whole purpose of our show is not to simply entertain, man, but to plant seeds. That find fertile ground in minds and soul, and that as we plant those seeds, that we might continue to water that, and let God give the increase, of course. But we might be continuing to get brothers to think more soberly and more strategically about their future, that they might be prepared for those challenges, and not only be prepared for them, but that they realize that they're equipped to overcome them with
And not only that, I believe, and I'm pretty sure that Mike agrees with me. If you have done well when you're out here, you have a responsibility to act as a guide to men and women who are coming out. I think that if you have chosen to do the right thing, if you have chosen to change your life around while you are in prison, you also chose to understand that you have to give back. And when I say give back, I'm not talking about just giving monetary things to people or your time. I'm talking about giving of yourself back to people who are in need too. And one of the groups of people that we are most responsible for giving back to, because we have so much that we can bridge with them, are formerly incarcerated people. We have a responsibility to give back. So if you get out and you're doing well, if you are one of those people that are considered a success story, then you have a responsibility to give a helping hand to people who are coming out, people who are getting ready to come out, and help them, show them the way, give them the guidance that they need, tell them what's necessary to change, what's necessary to make this transition possible. I think that we all have that responsibility because like I always say, to whom much is given, much is required. So that's just one of the requirements of people who have come out and who are doing well. And I'm happy that Mr. Morgan will be here and he can share one of the many stories that we've shared on Voices Beyond the Wall, because his is not isolated stories. I've been doing this show for 8-9 years probably, and I don't know, Kathy knows how long I've done this show. I don't. She'll probably text me the number. But for as long as I've been doing the show, we've continuously had men and women come on and given their testimony of transformation, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm just honored to be a part of that. So we look forward to that. Big shout out to my man DuPont in Green Haven, and of course the Project Build at Green Haven. I haven't shouted you guys out in a long time. I'm sorry about that. It's just so many things going on, and I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, wow, I didn't shout the brothers out at Project Build in a long time. But for those of you who have just started listening to Voices Beyond the Wall, Project Build is a prisoner-run program that assists men at Green Haven, that prepares men at Green Haven to be released to prison, from prison. These guys do a phenomenal job. Panama, Dominic, and a couple of other brothers. The tenacious one is the staff advisor, Miss Nieves, over there at Green Haven Correctional Facility. These people do a tremendous job. I have seen men who have gone through the program, who have graduated from the program, and they are doing exceptionally well, and they always credit Project Build and the facilitators for their successful transformation. I had the pleasure of going into Green Haven for a year, I believe, and teaching or talking about reentry. Some of the things that someone in phase 3 who has been in for 25 years can't tell because they haven't been out, they haven't walked through the wilderness. And it was my honor to go in and talk and share with those gentlemen, and they just absorbed everything, and it just felt so good to be among those brothers, and I really missed them. I really missed that grounding that we had, that sharing, and you guys will forever be in my heart. and you guys are always thought about. And I'm looking forward to the time that Panama and Dominic will come out, and they'll be sitting right here in the studio, and they'll be talking about their journey from prison to redemption. Because I think that they all have beautiful stories, and they need to be told. So there's a couple of things that have been going on. One of them is that there's this real issue with the packages at three New York State prisons. Apparently, they are running a pilot program to see whether or see how just limiting receiving packages from targeted vendors, approved vendors, food vendors, will be something that they want to introduce to the entire New York State prison population. And apparently there's a lot of backlash going on with that. It's said that these vendors are not even approved by the Better Business Bureau, and they are charging more than what our families can get at other places. So if anybody has any information or anything that they would like to share with our listening audience about this, anything that was printed in the news that we can share. We're not going to talk about any rah-rah stuff on Voices Beyond the Wall, because we want to keep this show going on. So if you got some rah-rah stuff, you got to talk among yourselves at that, because we got to protect the show and what we have here. But if you have anything concerning our point of view about this new package system that has been published in the newspaper or magazine or something, or you want to give a balanced comment, please send it in. It's something that's definitely on our radar. We want to keep the conversation in focus, and we really want to have a discussion about it, and we want to have a legitimate discussion about it. I don't think that we need to bash any side. We don't need to be nasty about it. We need to be educated opponents. We need to be educationally. We need to have some class about the things that we don't agree with, and that's very important. How you doing? Okay. How you doing? Okay, we have our guest here, and
That's not working, right?
it is working.
It's working? Good.
It is working. So we and thank you for your pledges. For your pledges, and Frank will tell you, Frank is here. Frank is the big man on campus with this radio thing here. But your contributions was part of getting a new mixing board, getting a third mic in the studio. I feel like we going high tech here, and I'm very impressed. Oh yeah, look at that bag there, Mike. I'm very impressed with the new equipment that we have. So that's a big thing, and I'm really happy about that. Mike Ocasio will be calling in soon, and he's going to give the legal commentary, and then right after Mike calls in, then we'll go to our interview. But until then,
until then, we're gonna just move forward. You know what I'm saying, with the show. And while we waiting, let me just make an announcement here. As you know, I work at the Hudson Valley Community Center. It's a nonprofit organization that serves the community of Poughkeepsie, New York. It's located at 110 South Grand Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York 12601. That's 110 South Grand Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York 12601. The website number is www.hvcommunitycenter.com. That's www.hvcommunitycenter.com. The phone number is 845-471-0430. That's 845-471-0430. And the reason I'm sharing this information because there's many ways that we can serve, and the Hudson Valley Community Center provides not only a place but an opportunity for those who want to make a difference in empowering and their community and helping to make a difference in some of the challenges that these marginalized communities are confronted with. The Hudson Valley Community Center is a 40,000 square foot facility. It has an indoor heated swimming pool, a renovated gymnasium, an auditorium, dance studio, fitness center, classrooms, meeting rooms, commercial kitchen, and recreational fields. It is also the home of the Born Again Disciples Incorporated, a Christian-based organization that provides free after-school program and summer camp for kids between the ages of 7 and 14. We have dance teams, basketball, and youth mentorship to at-risk youth between the ages of, like I said, 7 and 14. And we believe that the Bible is the Word of God, and that Jesus Christ is the means of salvation. As such, the daily activities for our children are as follows. We provide homework assistance, Bible study, free time, recreational group games, board games, arts and craft, refreshment, and meals. While the BAD program is the core mission of the Hudson Valley Community Organization, the facility offers the community much more regarding overall education, health, and wellness. So how can you help if you want to help for those who are out in society? And even those brothers who find themselves incarcerated, you might have some ideas that you can send, that can help us to move things forward. We're looking for volunteers who will work with children as counselors, tutors, or mentors. We're also looking for volunteers who might have maintenance skills, custodial skills, computer programming and website design, and grant writing skills, and etc. Any way that you think you might can contribute to this movement of our organization. And by the way, we accept donations in the form of child sponsorship. Our goal is anywhere between $50 to $100 a child per month, or general donations to the overall function of the Hudson Valley community and Born Again Disciples Incorporated. You want to say anything, Ernest?
Now you said it all, Mike, and I will say that the facilities at the center are beautiful. They have beautiful equipment. They have courteous people. The swimming pool is like I wanted to jump in there, and it was like
everybody always says, I want to jump in there.
It's a very nice place. It's nestled in Poughkeepsie, New York, where you would never know that a place like this exists.
Yeah.
So particularly for the people who live in Poughkeepsie or live in the immediate area, if you're a senior citizen, if you're a young adult,
that's right.
I mean, this place here has programs for everybody from 8 to 80. It's a beautiful place, and you guys have a lot of events there too, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, we do.
And if somebody wants to rent it, they can.
Yes, they can rent rooms. They can rent the auditorium. They can rent the gym. They can call Elisha Kano, who's my event coordinator, and she would take care of that for them. But whatever they want to use it for, they can rent rooms for classroom. We have people rent the rooms, lawyers for depositions and things like that. So
wow,
now recently, if you remember, we also had the town hall meeting over the Dutchess County Mass Transit.
Wow, there?
Yeah, we had it there.
Okay.
And that's how I got close with the new administrator, a brother named John Ando. Engineering genius, man, to say the least. But and that's also the same place where I hosted and facilitated a political debate for the city council seat.
Okay.
So it's always involved. I know we got coming up this February. We have the life screening program. And the life screening program is when they do cardiovascular examinations through the MRI machine. And it only going to cost people like $139. You know how much that really costs. And those things can be like $1,000.
Those things are expensive.
And $1,500 easily. But this organization that's coming in to do life screening for those who normally can't afford it, they're only charging $139. So that the date for that will be announced. I will make sure to make that announcement over the air as well as all over the website.
All right. So we have our legal commentator. Okay, our commentator on the air, and this Mike. So let's get Mike on the air, and let's get the legal word today. Mike, how you doing?
I'm well, Ernest, and yourself?
We're doing well. We have Mike and Walter in the studio.
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Mike? How you?
I'm well, thank you so much. How's everything with you guys?
We good, brother.
Good, man.
Blessing to hear your voice again, man.
Good.
Yes, sir.
It would be even better if you could tell us a legal means to hit that lottery.
Oh man, I wish I knew.
I think if he knew that, he would have hit it already.
I wish I knew, but every store I go, I feel like I'm the one that's going to hit next. So I always see the signs. Hey, big guy hit here before, so I'm like, oh man,
yeah, man, definitely
so
tempting,
I may be already warmed up.
Yeah, you'd be like, yo, they do now, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Those marketing strategies are designed, man, to effectuate that kind of response from us, man.
But anyway, how you guys doing today? Great?
We're doing well, man.
Great, man.
Thank you, Brother Fast.
What's the legal word, brother?
Okay, well, I want to speak up today on the newly discovered evidence aspect of the 440. I spoke about it over a year ago. This was one of my first topics, and I just want to revisit because it's been some time, and I just want to make sure that guys that heard it last time, that they still have it in their minds when they actually strategizing legally. So a lot of guys, like I said last year, they like to use newly discovered evidence as a way to obtain relief through a 440.10 motion to vacate judgment. And that's fine and dandy. The only problem with newly discovered evidence is that you have a 6-prong criteria test in People versus Salami that you have to overcome. And usually big firms even fall short to the 6-step criteria. So it's nothing actually for a pro se litigant to fall short if big law firms actually fall short sometimes. So what we suggest that you do is even if the evidence is newly discovered, which a lot of times it's not newly discovered until the court deems it newly discovered. So for the sake of argument, let's just say it is newly discovered for whatever reason. As opposed to moving on subdivision 1H, which is a newly discovered evidence branch of the 440.10 motion, we suggest that you go 1H. That subdivision is that the conviction was obtained in violation of the United States Constitution and New York State Constitution. Then you state your reasons why. And at the end, when it's all said and done, you're still going to get the same relief had you raised the evidence through newly discovered evidence. Newly discovered evidence, which is 1G, that's only a subdivision that you can hold on to when you attacking your conviction by 440.10 motion. A lot of times they deny us because we don't meet, again, one of the 6-step criteria in People versus Salami. So why go up against 6-step criteria when you can just go on the 1H and say that the conviction was obtained in violation of the Constitution? Then you state your reasons why. You support your issues with case law, statutory law, and whatever else you may have, so that a judge that's interested in your issue is still going to hold an evidentiary hearing first before he even grants the motion. Very rarely would a judge just grant your motion because you are alleging that you have newly discovered evidence. The proper remedy for that is to hold an evidentiary hearing. So if you raise it through 1G, newly discovered, or 1H, the conviction was obtained in violation of the Constitution, you're still going to get the same relief. But on the 1H, you have a better chance of being successful because you're not going up against the 6-prong criteria test again in People versus Salami. So that's my commentaries today, Ernest. I just want to make sure that, because I spoke about this over a year ago, so I want to revisit because I hear a lot of guys, I got newly discovered evidence, I have newly discovered evidence. sometimes the evidence has been disclosed to the attorney. It may be new to you, to the defendant, to the appellate, but it's not new within the meaning of the statute because your lawyer already had possession of it. Whether he failed to move with when he got hold of it, whether he failed to move with it or disclose it to the defendant is really of no moment. The prosecution is only entitled to disclose any information that it's under the discovery statute. So if you didn't have something, you got to make sure that the attorney didn't have it, because it's not a Brady violation. It's not a Rosario violation if your attorney had it. So it's not newly discovered, but a lot of times it's new to us. So you have to distinguish whether it's really new within the meaning of the statute or if the evidence is just new to you. So 1H will be the proper forum for that, because whether it's new or not is really of no moment at this point, because you're not moving on the newly discovered evidence. So you're moving on the 1H. So that gives you a better chance of obtaining the relief that you seek, and that will be first an evidentiary hearing. Ultimately, a reversal is the ultimate goal. But again, they're just going to grant you an evidentiary hearing whether the evidence is new or it's not. So that's my commentaries for today, Ernest. My name is Michael Ocasio. We can be reached at Prestige Paralegal Services. Address will be P.O. Box 226, Bronx, New York, 10461. Your family members can reach us at 718-822-2681. We could be reached at prestigeparalegal@gmail.com. And you guys can visit us at www.prestigeparalegalservices.com. You can write us, ask us questions. You can retain us, and we'll take care of your legal issues at the time that you make the communication. So, again, thank you so much for having us, Ernest. We really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And that's Mike Ocasio from Prestige Paralegal Services, P.O. Box 226, Bronx, New York, 10462, and telephone number 718-822-2681. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you. Okay, Michael Love.
All right, take care, Mike. It's always a pleasure, my brother.
Okay, now. Okay, gentlemen.
All right.
Take
Peace.
care, Brother Mike.
Peace, Mike.
Okay.
All right. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll do a couple of announcements, and then we just want to talk about some news that we got that's not really good, but we have to talk about it. So for our announcements, the Reach Out and Touch Prison Ministry would like to extend the opportunity for you to participate in their free Bible study correspondence course. This dynamic program will help you to establish a relationship with Jesus Christ, gain an understanding of who your Savior and ultimately who He expects you to be. The Reach Out and Touch Prison Ministry has been around for quite some time. They go into Rikers Island. They are a close-knit, very powerful group of people who believe in God and who believe in redemption. And that's the main component that makes these people special, because they believe in redemption. And as a result, they reach out to people who are incarcerated and people who are informally incarcerated. They have a tremendous group, and what they offer is a free Bible study course that you can take while you're inside. Now, if you're interested in this Bible study course, it's free. The only thing that you have to do is send your studies back in, your test results back in, and you'll get a certificate at the end. You can write the Reach Out and Touch Prison Ministry at P.O. Box 120249, St. Albans, New York, 11412. Again, you can write the Reach Out and Touch Prison Ministry at P.O. Box 120249, St. Albans, New York, 11412 for their free Bible study course. Just write them and tell them that you're interested in the course, and they'll send you all of the information that you may need. For those of you who have family members in the Dutchess County area, in particular Poughkeepsie, New York. The families of incarcerated loved ones run a support group twice a month, the second and fourth Monday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. They hold this group at 253 Mansion Street, and Flo Martinez is the facilitator of this group. You can call her at 845-297-5125 for information. Again, the families of incarcerated loved ones runs a support group for the family members of incarcerated people. They meet twice a month, the second and fourth Monday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at 253 Mansion Street, Poughkeepsie, New York. Flo Martinez is the facilitator, and she could be reached by telephone at 845-297-5125. For those of you who would like to meet a friend, Friends Beyond the Wall has an excellent pen pal company. You can write them for information for the application and all the information that you may need to set up a page so that you can put an ad up. You can write at 55 Mansion Street, number 1030, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12602. And for those of you who are outside and you would like to correspond with someone who is currently incarcerated, you can go to friendsbeyondthewall.com and you can find a friend. Valentine's Day is coming up. Valentine's Day is a big gift giving time of the year, and if you are looking for an ideal gift for your loved one, your wife, your mother, your sister, your daughter, your son, Jaden Moore of New York has a 64-page color catalog that they send to incarcerated people free of charge. They simply have to write Jaden Moore of New York, 309 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601. They have a main catalog which has 64 pages of fresh flowers, chocolates, wine and cheese baskets, junior cheesecakes, jewelry, rings, bracelets, necklaces, watches, balloon gifts, framed sentiment gifts, toys, animated plush animals, and a whole host of other gifts. They also have a 32-page jewelry catalog, which is also free and available to any incarcerated person that would like to have it. Again, Jaden Moore of New York is 309 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601. So that's our announcements for today, and Mike is going to share something with us that that's kind of troubling, but Mike.
Yeah, I want to. It's important that I share an announcement about a fallen comrade. Some of you might know it already. Brother Jafar Abbas. Jafar Abbas died 2 hours and 37 minutes after New Year's, as a result of pneumonia. Anybody know Jafar? We had him on the show several times. I know since I've been home, I interviewed him twice via the phone, and he even shared his poems. You know, he's a brother that graduated with me from the New York Theological Seminary master's degree program in Sing Sing. Mm-hmm. In fact, this year make our 20th anniversary, and right now me and my classmates, all of us are out here now.
Every single
day. The last one that came home was Alejo Rodriguez.
Wow. This guy should have
so we working on something now for a reunion, man. I'm saying, and that was what Jafar wanted. That's we was in talks about that, planning towards that. I don't think we was moving fast enough, but it's going to happen, God willing. And to know, I get a call Saturday that the brothers was in the hospital, and he had had 4 heart attacks. They resuscitated him 4 times. Wow. You imagine hearing that, because anybody know Jafar, he's in good shape, he works out, you know what I'm saying, man, he's a good brother, he's a
not
strong
overweight.
brother. No, he's but from the information, the sketchy that's coming in, it seems like, he wasn't working with Osborne Association no more. So, it seemed like when he went to the hospital, they discharged him prematurely, because he had no no medical benefits or anything like that.
Oh, that's just.
And by the time he came back, it was way advanced. That pneumonia is serious, man. It can't be played with. But anyway, when I first heard it, I was disturbed for the whole weekend, man. You know what I'm saying, and then when I got the news early in the morning, you know what I'm saying, that he was gone, man. I'm still having a challenge in processing this, man. Jafar was such a bright light. Anybody who knows him, such a man who had worked through some real intense kind of violent issues, because he used to be a very violent brother, man.
Right,
Everybody knows
right.
Jafar. And was skilled at it too. Not only was he violent, but he was skilled in the violence. His love for boxing, man. But this brother, man, transformed. And it was important for him to not only be reconciled to his humanity,
Right.
but to recognize the humanity of all people.
Right.
And I guess when you see the kind of people that Jafar affected their lives, you see that they come from all walks of life, from different ethnic groups, from different backgrounds, different nations. Jafar just had that special thing, man. There's no one like him, man. And we are my classmates, as especially his family. We mourn him, we miss him, and in fact, in the process, the family establishing a scholarship in his name. That was Osborne Association had volunteered to take the lead on doing that. So we'll see how that work out.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss him, man. But one thing for sure, he left behind a legacy that people can build on. He was a man who was very conscientious. He didn't like unfairness, wrongness. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, he took exceptional steps and making sure that he treated people fairly and talked with them fairly. Special brother. I know he was working on Rikers Island for a year. You know what I'm saying, working with the youth. So we want to give a minute of silence to observe this. To just acknowledge in our hearts, minds, a fallen comrade who invested so much of his life in the lives of others. Okay, we're back, and thank you, Jafar. You're immortalized in our hearts.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what legacies can do. We can immortalize ourselves in the hearts of people in very powerful, uplifting, and edifying ways.
Right. And with brothers like Jafar and Chaz and all the rest of these good brothers that fell, we need to look at them as examples of what to do and how to be, because they are our heroes. So if we could take from them pieces of the best that they gave, the best that they offered, the best that they showed, it would be a marvelous thing for all of us.
Indeed, my brother. Indeed.
Okay. All right, so we have. Let me put. Hey, Mrs. Tyson, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
So we understand that you got some very, very good news.
I have some very good news
All
to
right,
give
so-
you.
so
I
you
wanted to share with you before you did your interview, and then I will call back, of course, during the allotted time.
All right.
So I am sure newsworthy is that the New York State Governor Cuomo granted pardons to 61 people in New York State.
Really?
There's a breakdown of how it has gone, and in that breakdown, there were 2 people who had sentences commuted, and one of them was Tyson.
Wow. Very cool.
Crazy, yes.
But I'm acting
Congratulations.
surprised. But I knew it though. But I'm gonna act surprised though.
Yes, exercise. So I thought it was just the best news to share
It
with
is.
your listening audience, because I know that one thing that I always say when I call in is when you have, as long as you have breath, you have hope, and you have to keep that hope alive. And keeping hope and keeping faith, it's a big part of this walk that we do with anybody that we love who is incarcerated, whether they are in the New York State system or any other system throughout the states. And we just are so grateful. We are so grateful to God, and we are grateful to the office of the governor. He did not have to do what he did, and he did it. We're also very grateful to the powers that be at Greenhaven Correctional Facility, who had not only the wherewithal but the courage, the strength, the belief to actually submit him for the clemency consideration. And it was not only once but twice. So this was the second time, and it came through, and I can't even begin to extend the thanks that I would love to extend to him and to the people in Albany and to all the people who have been supportive throughout this whole walk. It's just really overwhelming. It's unbelievable, and it just means so much. You can't even begin to understand. Well, you do understand, but you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
you know, we didn't see this coming like a Mack truck coming at you. We didn't see this coming, and it's such a blessing. And I just wanted to let people know that whatever you do, don't give up. Don't give up your fight, but don't give up your hope. Never give it up, because you never know how God is going to move in your life. You never know. When you think he's sleeping, he's not sleeping. He never sleeps. And he has come through strong here, and we're just ever grateful. So I'm going to call you back at the allotted time, but I just wanted to share that for now.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. You listening to the show, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm just going to cuff off what you said, so just listen, right?
Okay, no problem.
See, the thing that Mrs. DuPont didn't say was all of that was possible. The governor's granting of clemency, the nudging of the Greenhaven officials to say this is the guy, but it all went back to the guy. Let's talk about the guy. The guy, DuPont, was a tenacious person. He decided a long time ago that he was going to do his time in service to others. That's what he decided to do. Tyson runs Project Build. He runs the Alternative to Violence Project, and probably a couple of others that I don't even know about. He is that guy in Greenhaven that is doing programs exceptionally. And he was recognized. But it takes a lot of work to do that. So when you say that the governor granted clemency, the governor had to recognize Tyson's work before he could have said, I'm going to give him clemency. And the administration at Greenhaven had to recognize the work that Tyson was doing before any of that happened. So big up to Tyson.
Yes, sir.
It just goes to show hard work pays off.
And you never see how it's going to come sometimes.
That's right.
Remember the old quote, chance favors the prepared mind.
Prepared mind. That's right.
Get yourself prepared. That way when an opportunity knock at your door, you can walk easily or gingerly into the situation.
Right.
You know?
And that segues us into our guest here today.
Yes, would you please introduce yourself to us, to our audience?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Walter Morgan. I'm here in Poughkeepsie, New York. It's a pleasure and a blessing to be amongst my teacher, friend, as well as companion, Brother Michael Love.
Amen.
And also a blessing to be on the other side of the Voices Beyond the Wall with Brother Ernest, who kept us for...
Yes, he did, right? He
who
did a
kept
marvelous
us
job.
informed. And you know what? He didn't neglect brothers, even though we may have written 20, 30 times, and you may not have heard your letter on the air. He still had us in mind, because whatever was needed to be heard, he made sure that we got that.
Yes, sir. That's a fact. Well, brother, we welcome you. You know what I'm saying,
Well,
to the
thank you.
station,
It's
man.
a blessing and a pleasure.
I've been waiting for you to come in here for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell you, there's so many brothers I mentor, and each relationship is different. You know what I mean? No two brothers are the same, and the nature and the quality of that relationship differs from one person to the next. And what I remember about you, Brother Walter, is I first met you in the Rising Hope program.
Absolutely.
I think it was Christian history class
That's
that you
right.
came into that. And one thing I noticed about you within the first few classes was that you came there, you was focused, you was serious, you know what I'm saying? And you always, when you asked questions, they was very thought out, poignant questions. You know what I'm saying? You was hungry, you was motivated. But I remember also that you had dropped out. I remember I was
That's right.
I was disappointed about that. But to make a long story short, you wound up coming back, man.
Absolutely.
And you came back even better than before. You had some things you need to work out, man. And you've always been a humble and gracious brother, man.
Thank you, brother.
That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? That's who you are. You know what I'm saying? You got that quiet strength. Some people think that the only way to make their strength known is to be loud. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. But you got that prudence about yourself, man. I don't know where you got that from. I know who you took that from. But you
Well,
got it.
It's a definite gift, man. You got to give God the glory on that. And it didn't come, I didn't recognize it. It's always probably been there, but didn't recognize it
Yes, sir.
until I had to be through the kiln, and refined.
So how much time did you do?
I did a decade. I did 10 years.
And when did you get out?
I got out March 2nd, 2015.
Wow. So
The day before my birthday.
so this March is going to be 3 years.
Yes, sir.
And so what had your challenges been like? What's been the biggest challenge for you in terms of your transition? What was it, in terms of your points of reentry? I think that for reentry, there's different points and references. You can jump in anytime you want
No,
to.
we just want to take a station identification
Okay.
break. What we want to do is we want to take a station identification break
Okay.
every hour. That way, Jim can cut the YouTube and he could put them into 3 segments.
Yeah, I got you. So
So,
we got them parts.
right.
Okay.
So we're going to take a station identification break. You're listening to Voices Beyond the Wall, New York Prison Talk radio show, coming to you live from the Vassar College radio station, 91.3 WVKR FM, Poughkeepsie, New York. I'm your host, Ernest Henry. In the studio, we have Mike Love, who is our co-host, and we have Mr. Morgan, who is our guest. And we are talking about Mr. Morgan's reentry. And before we go into what some of the challenges that he had, why don't we start from the top? Like, who were you
Good point.
before you came to prison?
Man, I'm able to dissect him now. Before he was consuming this brother Walter Morgan, he was consumed by a lot of the learned abilities and the gifted abilities. I've always been, I guess I got it from my father, musical. And so just to bring this, to encapsulate it and just to bring it together was May 28th, 2005 is when I was arrested. May 29th, I was supposed to go to Albany and sign with Kid Rock
Wow.
in one of his movies that he was doing. My mother was my actual manager,
Wow.
and my wife was rooting for me. She went and bought all the equipment that I needed to go up there. And
So you were gonna be. What were you gonna do with Kid Rock?
I was going to I MC
Okay.
hip hop as well as act, and so I had a scene and also I had credits in the movie that the song that I would have performed would have been part of the soundtrack.
Wow.
And so then, my head was big because I was, I said, "Oh, I'm there."
You walk lopsided.
Yeah,
because it was so big, right?
Sometimes, right? So yeah, and so then, and I've done a lot of communal things in Poughkeepsie. So growing up, Sister Zakia Ladji, growing up, she was one of my mentors, and Brother Bilal, her son, which is my best friend and my brother. We did music together, and so we would perform out here, and we would do things, and we was just going. And so I was just consumed by the unfamed fame, and the abilities, where everybody's saying, "Yo, Walter, you got it, man. This is it. We gonna see you here. You the next thing, Poughkeepsie on the map." And then all the other brothers that was here, also in the music, were saying very supportive as well. So it was like no matter where I went, they knew who I was, and I stood out. I had long hair. I don't know if you believe it now, but I had long hair. I got it braided every week. I had a different girl braiding my hair.
Celebrity look.
Looking
like a celebrity.
Yeah,
You're gonna be one. You might have start looking like him, right?
Come on, And so, and those are the things that consumes a young man.
Yes, sir.
Who forgets his principles and morals. Man, that's what I did. I was given the right tools, but I left them in the bag. I didn't use them.
That was a good way of putting it.
And so as I carried on through that journey, I was in the street. I was hard-headed. I thought that I knew everything, but what I didn't know was the consequences of criminal stinking thinking.
Yes, sir.
And you don't got to throw the brick through the window to commit a crime.
Right.
It's in your mind, and you already pre-thought it out, and the actions and the steps that you're taking are criminal. Because if you're offending those people who gave you those right tools and those right principles, then you're committing a crime against them.
So you was chasing this dream, I'm saying, at almost all costs. Then you find yourself arrested, convicted, sentenced, and in prison. So you came through downstate?
I did, yes.
You remember what that felt like to you?
Oh, man. Excuse me. Before I even get there, the thought that was in my mind was, I said to my youngest daughter, my oldest daughter, I told her, Daddy be back in 10 minutes. Now, that's Memorial Day weekend, May 28th. So we were supposed to go ride bikes down at the river, and I had her bike, and I was supposed to put air in the tire. And when I told her I'd be back in 10 minutes, it turned out to be 10 years.
Yeah, a minute, huh?
Yeah, that's very profound.
It's a gross exaggeration, huh? In 10 minutes. Huh?
Yeah, and
but that seems to have stuck with you. That you seem, I'm looking at the expression on your face. You seem to have been reflecting on that your entire bid.
Absolutely. And that was actually actual energy. Because I had to get back. Right. I had to get back. If it wasn't for me, there was people that I made promises to, and they knew whom I was, and they also seen who I was pretending to be. If you weren't there yet and you weren't that person, you pretended. That's what it is. Right. And you can't pretend for 10 years. You're either going to be who you are, or you're going to become something you don't want to be. So bringing that back to downstate, my goodness. I don't know how. I know how I took it. Maybe most men who may have been, a little harder than me. I'm not going to say that I was the toughest, hardest dude in the world. But I didn't like to be offended, of course, and I didn't want to take no nonsense from nobody. And when I went through downstate, all that shattered. It broke, Brother Mike. When they told you to take your clothes off, and they gave you that little bottle of shampoo that you had to use on your whole body, you thought it was just for your head. Yes. It's not just for your head. You know what I mean? You got to put that on your whole, and you better hurry up. And you're not alone.
And then jump in that cold shower.
And it's right above your head, and you got to pull that string, and the first thing that hit you was those ice cubes. That wasn't water. That was far from water, And so And then there was an embarrassing moment because I held a job. I was a nursing assistant. And when I came through downstate, I seen a lot of people that I knew and I worked with. And they were working. And when they see you and you see them, it is a degrading feeling.
Yes, sir.
You know, and one of the most intimate degrading moments was when the nurse who does your intake, that was my charge nurse, and she just looked at me and just kept looking like it wasn't who. I'm not looking at this guy. This can't be you.
Right.
You got to be kidding me. This is, you know, and you can't really show any type of relation. You know what I mean? You can't even. Yeah, how can you hold your head up, man?
Right.
You know what I mean? Those are the humbling moments, and those are the moments to where now you can't. That facade that you had of who you thought you were is all broken down because now these people who thought something of you thinking totally different of you now, and they're gonna spread the word because the best way to spread your business is word of mouth.
Yeah, but that's basically that's shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's good material for redemption, though.
Yeah, that's it.
and as we see, this is where it started. See, I didn't recognize it then.
Right.
You know, I didn't recognize that was, but this was the going through the kiln, through the fire. See, God had a plan. You know, now maybe God is the best of planners. We can plan, but God is the best of planners.
Right.
And so, if I was in that path that I was headed, maybe I'd be dead, Brother Mike. Or maybe I didn't hurt somebody. Or maybe I could have been given more time for doing something totally different and losing everything, you know? And then that fight would have been an extreme battle that who knows who can come back from. And so, you know, going through downstate and seeing all these people that I knew, because a lot of people from Poughkeepsie worked down in the facility, you know what I mean? In the whole Dutchess County. And it's like, man, you know what I mean? It's like you can't
Biggest
be.
employer.
Yeah, you know? And it was very, very embarrassing. And you know what was even more embarrassing? I couldn't tell nobody. See, this was also part of God's plan. He was like, you're going to hold this, Walter. You can't tell nobody you know who they are because you know what happens? Yo, Walter, can you tell them to get me this? Walter, can you tell me to get me that? Walter, it's like, brother, I don't know nothing about that.
Right.
Do you see where we are right now?
Right.
I want to get home. You know what I mean? I don't want to get any of those things. But see, this was the mindset that I wasn't gifted to. See, all the brothers in the street who I thought were my brothers didn't seem to, in all the intelligence that I had, I was very naive to the street, man. The street smiled when they seen me because I said, we got one. You know what I'm saying? And so, but then you learn, you know, and then you start to see a lot of things that you weren't. You know, I seen a lot of men that were a lot tougher than me, you know, and I'm a man, so I'm not afraid to say, yo, he's tougher than I am. I may be skilled and gifted in certain aspects and maybe stronger, but in those fields and aspects, those men, they are a lot stronger, a lot wiser.
Yeah, when you consider a brother who's doing 25 to life and he got 40 years in at 2-year intervals.
Yes, yeah.
That's his strength. It's incredible, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then something also profound was that when you're in that bullpen and the brothers talking about the time that they got, I learned terminology, football jerseys. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, you know, Super Bowl. Oh no, you know. And so then, you know, they told me, yo, oh damn, well you got the football jersey.
It's fair to say that by the time you was in downstate, you was broken.
I was shattered. Yeah, that's a fact. I was definitely shattered.
So how did you deal with being shattered?
I didn't let them see me cry, Mike. But I waterfalled inside because I thought of all the family that supported me, you know. And then when you had to make that call in the police station to someone, you know, and then, you know, you calling home and you're telling them that you're not coming, you know. And then I called my wife and I told her, baby, you know, I'm not coming home.
All of us made effort.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
And the words that she said weren't words, you know. She started bawling. She cried so hard
Yeah, I experienced that too.
that the detective I put the phone away from my ear, gentlemen, and the detective looked at the phone and then looked at me, and he took it out my hand and hung it up.
There was nothing else to say.
What are you going to do after this? That's it. That's the answer.
That was exactly my experience.
Really?
Yeah, my baby, I called her. She started bawling, and she cried so deeply, it's like a wounded animal. You know what I mean? And hand that broke my tears because I knew I was responsible for that pain.
That's right.
And there was nothing I could say, no words of consolation I could offer.
That's right. So, so then, being, that that first step into the nothingness of incarceration was the everything I needed to come out, and when I got that visit, when my mother came, who's been the pillar through that, that decade. Wise man named Brother Michael Love told me to always speak with that reality tongue. And it's a decade, some brothers did a lot more time than I did, but to me, a decade, that's a long time.
More than enough.
And,
a day is a long time.
And so, when my mother came to see me, it was the first time I seen her cry. And that just vapored me. I was vapor. And I knew, like you said, I was the cause of that, Mike. I was the cause of many people's pain. And all that selfishness that I thought people were loving, they were hating. Let's be honest, you know what I mean? My family was hating that character, but still loving me because I'm still who it is, right? Yeah. But I didn't pay attention to that, even though they supported me and they knew, that all these possibilities was there. But I was just so naive and blind, man.
How did you adjust? Because you fall into a unique category of people who go to the penitentiary. Some people, a large percentage of people who go to the penitentiary, they're seasoned to go to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
You weren't. You were the guy that you were living a life that could have taken you down a very lucrative, legit path. How did you deal with being in the penitentiary from the perspective that you came in with? Because you weren't someone who was a criminal. You weren't criminal minded,
right?
Although you committed a crime,
right?
How did you deal with being there?
Brother Ernest, I actually I learned fast. Because the people around you that were seasoned were moving a lot faster than me, and so I had to learn fast, and I prayed, and I depended on what I knew to get me to where I need to be to survive. It's a survival game, and you could say a brother of my mentality up in there was definite food to people, but I refused to be consumed and become part of that criminal stinking thinking, And when I listened to the talk that brothers were doing, like linguistics, I also was in the service, so the linguistics was my specialty. And I'm listening to brothers saying, "Oh man, you only got 10 watt. I could do that standing on my head." Oh wow!
If you think about it, if you can locate a rationale for that, right? You can see how psychotic.
Oh my goodness!
Because my thing, well, that's good, brother. But can you do 10 years out in the streets?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can you do 10 years out in the streets?
Right.
So that was profound. I'm like, wow, here go another lesson. I learned another language. You know what I mean? Okay, standing on my head. Am I going to really do a handstand right now?
Yeah.
So, but I understood, what the brother meant. It was inferred that was light compared to some of the things that he may have known or maybe he have gotten for himself. But I refused to allow that to be one of my standing on the heads, the acceptance of it. So I actually fought, Brother Ernest. I said, okay. What I need to do now is use the skill set that I've been given and go to the law library, And so this is where I met a lot of the most profounded men that was in the history of incarceration. Brother Michael Love, I've always wanted him into the library. The brother with the dreads that what's the brother's name? He passed away in hospice. I did hospice for 10 years also in Fishkill. Big tall brother, real fluent in the law library. If anybody that may reflect and know, they can if they give a call in, just jog our memories with the brother.
Think about that, fool.